Students, now let us have a look at the urbanization in our country, how the cities grew and developed.
Nearly 350 million, which constitutes one-third of the population in India, live in towns and cities across the length and breadth of the country. A lot of people have taken up non-agricultural activities as their occupations and have begun to live in the towns and cities. This process can be called as urbanization.
This trend of urbanization has been on the rise from the past few decades in the country. Students, the rise in the population was a result of the growth that happened in the urban areas in the country.
The inclusion of rural areas around the older cities and towns led to expansion, and as a result, growth took place in urban settlements. Rural to urban migration contributed to only 1/5 of the growth in urban settlements. Students, although there is a rise in urbanization, there was no adequate basic infrastructure like water, roads, sanitation, etc. to support the growth in urban settlements. As we all know, we require various kinds of facilities like drinking water, electricity, sewage system, and other public facilities.
Although the interference of government in improving the infrastructure has been helpful, there is lack of facilities for electricity, water, and health infrastructure. In case the people are poor, the conditions are even worse. Students, how do you think is this section, that is, the urban India, contributing to the economic development of the country?
The various activities of the service sectors like finance, insurance, real estate, and other business-related service aspects like the transport, storage, and communication constitute more to the economic development than the industrial activities.
There is not much growth of the industrial outputs over the past few years. But students, living in the cities or migrating to the cities is not a blessing for all.
Although the levels of poverty may be low in the urban areas when compared to the rural areas, one can see a huge rift between the average income of low-income family and a high-income family. The gap is on a rise in the cities and towns.
The income earned by the people belonging to the scheduled castes or the scheduled tribes is very less when compared to the other caste groups.
Only 1/6 of the urbanites belonging to castes other than scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, while the poverty line of the scheduled caste scheduled tribe urbanites was double according to the statistics of 2009 to 10. These people live in the towns and work in the unorganized sector.
Students, we have seen the immense growth of settlements which led to rapid rise in urbanization. The urbanization has opened up many opportunities for people in terms of livelihood, shelter, and so on. In addition to the opportunities, there is another side to it. Many problems have resulted due to urbanization.
The problems include housing, water supply, sewage, and other waste disposal, besides transportation and other issues. The more number of vehicles in urban area result in urban air pollution, leading to health hazards and localized climatic change. In addition to this, improper disposal of sewage has resulted in increase of infectious diseases. Another major impact of urbanization is the use of non-degradable or materials that take a very long time to degrade, like plastic. As a result, a lot of waste gets accumulated and is being dumped in rural areas or taken to waste treatment plants.
Students, From this, we can understand how the increased waste in various forms is being dumped in the rural and other areas. It is only when people have awareness of the hazardous effects can they protect themselves. Students, so for the next class, think about some of the methods through which the industrial and other waste be effectively managed.
We just discussed that some families migrate on a seasonal basis. They are the temporary migrants. Take for example, the case of sugarcane cutters.
They flock in the cities for the harvesting of sugarcane from their native villages, and once their job is done, they take their salaries and go back to their native villages. For example, Maharashtra produces 70% of sugarcane in the country and has a large number of sugarcane factories. A study estimates that more than 650,000 laborers migrate from central to western Maharashtra for sugarcane cutting each year. They live in temporary huts or kopis made of bamboo mats and poles. Their animals are parked in front of their houses and both live in crammed up conditions. The women have to carry loads of sugarcanes on their backs in scorching heat, and the men have to drive carts to the factories where they have to wait in long queues to get their stuff unloaded. Similarly, in West Bengal, more than 5 lakh migrants move to Bardha Mandist during the rice harvest season to earn livelihood. Munda and Santhal men migrate to work in mining sites in Odisha. Nearly 50,000 women from Kerala migrate annually to work in fish processing industries of Maharashtra. Rural seasonal migrants work in agriculture and plantations, brick kilns, quarries, construction sites, and fish processing.
Children, migration doesn't necessarily bring benefits all the times.
The people who migrate to urban areas from rural areas sometimes have to live in extremely unhygienic and crammed up conditions. They have to work under harsh conditions and get low wages.
Though the migrants have to undergo a lot of hardships, migration allows the households to pay back debts without selling assets. Some migrants gradually acquire new skill sets and succeed in getting good paying jobs.